Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news of the Cleveland Cavaliers finally winning a national title. News from the last meeting of the new GSA. Notice that the Ridgecrest Animal Shelter is offering free kittens and cats right now. Today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake. This is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, in news from Cleveland, Ohio, LeBron James' tears of joy were unstoppable as he held the Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy at Oracle Arena on Sunday. He had just authored one of the sport's all-time greatest stories, an achievement that Cleveland has longed for since 1964. For the record, I'm from Cleveland, and I'm very happy today. And this is how it happened. James led the Cavaliers back in historic style from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals to beat the Golden State Warriors, the team that won an NBA record 23 regular season games on the road for the NBA championship. No team had ever come back from a 3-1 position to win an NBA championship. James scored 27 points, collected 11 rebounds, delivered 11 assists, blocked 3 shots, and had 2 steals. His 7th finals triple-double as the Cavaliers defeated the Warriors 93-89 in Game 7 on Sunday. "I'm true to the game, and I know what I bring to the table," James said. He continued, "I came back for a reason. I came back to bring a championship to our city. I knew what I was capable of doing. I knew what I learned in the last couple of years that I was gone, and when I came back, I knew I had the right ingredients and the right blueprint to help this franchise get back to a place that we've never been. That's what it's all about. The game's always given back to people that are true to the game. I've watched it. I know the history of the game, and I was just calm. I was calm. I was focused. I was locked in." It is the first time a team has won the title after falling behind 3-1 in a final series, and it took one of the best performances in finals history from James to deliver Cleveland to its first major pro sports championship since the 1964 Browns. The win inspired pandemonium back in Ohio. Cleveland fans, Northeast Ohio, and the city endured sporting heartache after sporting heartache with 2-word reminders: the drive, the shot, the fumble, and yes, the decision. The ethos of the Cleveland sporting failures is woven into the fabric of the fans. James knows that history. He rattled off Ernest Miner's fumble, John Elway's 99-yard drive, Jose Mesa's blown save opportunity, and 2 Cavs finals. It's ingrained into his fabric too. He's part of it. Our fans, they ride or die, no matter what's been going on, no matter the Browns, the Indians, the Cavs, and so on. And all their sports teams, James said. They continue to support us, and for us to be able to end this drought, our fans deserve it. They deserve it, and it was for them. Those were from James. So, Cleveland has won a championship. There will be a parade on Wednesday welcoming the Cavaliers to Cleveland. And as a Cleveland fan, I was also very proud that there was no massive rioting in the streets in celebration. Thousands of fans were in the streets celebrating, but there were no attacks, buildings broken into, or massive rioting. There were a few drunken public arrests, and that was it. Thousands of fans watched the game at the basketball home of the Cavaliers, Game 7. Within 4 hours of the building being vacated by the very joyous crowd, workers started changing the stadium from a basketball court to a convention hall, getting ready for the upcoming Republican convention. That will be a real test for the Cleveland Police Department. And in local news, the new groundwater agency met last Friday at 5 p.m. in the City Council chambers. All stakeholders were there except the San Bernardino rep. First, they got an update briefing on the Sigma process. Nothing really new was presented except more information on the process. It was reported that all eligible GSA stakeholders have agreed to a JPA. While there is still a little fine-tuning that needs to be done and agreed to, it appears the agreement is close to approval. The main stakeholders, as established in the law, include the counties of Kern, Inyo, and San Bernardino, the city of Ridgecrest, and the Indian Wells Valley Water District. Associate non-voting members include the Navy and BLM. All the stakeholders announced that they were going to be taking the final JPA back to their respective bodies for formal approval. Once that is done, the GSA plans on meeting in August to finalize the next step, which will be application to the state to be recognized as the basin's GSA authority. Some members of the public objected to the stakeholders' decision that no private voting members would have a seat on the GSA. There are some pushing for them to admit private companies to have voting representation on the board. All the stakeholders commented that having a private well owner on the board to vote would be a conflict of interest. Elected officials serving on the board are responsible to the voters that elect them, and hence could be removed from the board by the people. A private owner would not be responsible to anyone but their own company's interest, and could not be removed by the people. Instead, the board has decided to have associate memberships, which would include these private companies in some fashion. Through associate membership, they will have a meaningful participation role. One member of the public charged the board with still doing nothing but talk, not doing anything to establish water conservation. The board replied that while the speaker is right on the issue continues to get worse, they believe there is sufficient time to go through the state-mandated process to first get the new GSA approved, then move on to the plan to solve the problem. Everyone agreed that they do not want the state to come in and take control of the valley. If the local group doesn't set up a GSA, the state will come in and dictate what needs to be done. So the state requirement is to have the GSA set up by next June. However, the current group hopes to be way ahead of the deadline. And the state has mandated for an actual plan to be done by January of 2020. Again, the current group plans on being way ahead of the mandated date. There was also assurances from the stakeholders that all meetings would be open and transparent according to the Brown Act as soon as the GSA has been recognized by the state. So that's the latest on the GSA formation. In U.S. Supreme Court news, on Monday they left in place gun control laws in New York and Connecticut that ban assault weapons like the one used in last week's massacre at an Orlando nightclub, rejecting a challenge brought by gun rights advocates. They actually didn't make a decision on the case. The justice declined to hear an appeal of an October ruling by the New York-based Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals that upheld the laws prohibiting semi-automatic weapons and large-capacity magazines in the two northeastern states. So, by not hearing the case, it left the bans in place. It kind of points that the court might have been split on the decision, so they decided not to take the case, so it could be heard sometime in the future when the court was fully staffed again. The court's action underlined its reluctance to insert itself into the simmering national debate on gun control. The justices have not made a major gun rights ruling since 2010. The challengers had asserted that the law violated the U.S. Constitution's protection of the right to bear arms. The court denied the appeal with no comment or recorded vote. Thanks for staying with us. Now news, the Second Amendment is under attack like never seen before in California. As we report this story, the California legislature is considering final approval of 11 anti-gun bills. None of these bills will do anything to fight crime or take guns out of the hands of people that shouldn't have them. It's time to start calling the Governor Brown's office right now. Call there and declare that these laws are not going to do anything to stop crime. Passing prohibitions that ban items that are currently legal to own will make millions of current legal gun owners criminals. These are terrible new laws. If you agree, help spread the word to your friends and family. Start calling the governor now to voice your concerns about these new proposed laws. Encourage him to veto them. You can call his office at 916-445-2841, or you can email him. If you just go to www.govnews.ca.gov, there is a simple form to fill out and send to him. I've done it online. It's easy. Don't be silent. Act now. In campaign news, Trump manager Lewandowski has been removed from the campaign. Many speculate that this is the start of Trump's move into the national campaign, that he needed someone with much larger national experience to get the campaign moving nationally. A replacement has not yet been named. Many establishment Republicans hope it will be a move to less controversial comments by Trump. This comes at a time where there is speculation of Cruz delegates trying to change the convention rules at the convention next month to block Trump's nomination. The RNC has stated they are not supporting any Stop Trump movement. Now it's time for the 153rd KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Why would the DOJ release redacted transcripts of the phone conversations with the Orlando terrorist and then change? So, Every day, we are being told by the DOJ that they are being open and transparent with the people, and they want the people to know what they know about the terror attack in Orlando. However, it now appears they only want to be open and transparent with only the information they think we should know. Boy, that sounds like communism. Where's the First Amendment? So by themselves, Attorney General Lynch states that White House has made no input into this decision. The DOJ will release the phone call transcripts with all references to ISIS or terror inferences redacted from the transcript. What that means is they will delete any talk he may have provided regarding his support of ISIS or the ISIS movement. So, they give their reasons is that they don't want to inflame the rhetoric and victimize the victims again. Are you kidding me? But wait! Monday, they released the redacted transcript, then decided to release a full transcript translated from Arabic to English. So now, they would appear to be transparent. Not quite. The transcript they released is about 2 minutes of the 20 minutes of conversation being reported by news sources. And get this, the translation they provided was reworded to be kind and soft in the translation. And they have not provided the audio of these 9/11 calls to back up their transcripts. Why would they keep that from us? Is there more details of his involvement with ISIS they don't want the people to know? When this administration hides things, very often it has been for political reasons. Of course, they call it differently. They call it for national security. So, what could he have said to law enforcement over the phone that they think we shouldn't know? What is this administration trying to hide from us? And for Attorney General Lynch to say she has not discussed this with the White House at all is very hard to believe. And she also stated in interviews over last Sunday stating she has never discussed the Clinton FBI investigation with Obama or anyone at the White House. This has got to be a whopper of a lie. The investigation has been going on for over a year. Every office under the president must provide the White House updates on all their department's activities. For her to assert that she has never discussed such a high-level investigation of Clinton with the White House is beyond believable. When I worked for the government, there was always a level higher than me that wanted to know everything I was working on and the status of that work. And then the boss would often provide feedback and guidance as to how the project should continue. If anyone believes she has not discussed the Clinton case or what she plans on doing with the terror attacks, I have a bridge to nowhere I want to sell you. Just how stupid do they think we are? We have an administration that has for years even been ordering training manuals for the DOJ and FBI to remove any wording using jihad, radical Islamists, or any other type of anti-Muslim phrases. They have until just last week never uttered the word radical extreme Islamists. And the administration, and now Clinton, have even spoken the word means nothing. According to Obama and Clinton, we have a war on extremism, not a war on extreme Islamists. Last time I checked the news, I haven't seen any reports of Christians or Buddhists or any other religious group beheading those that don't follow their religious beliefs. The phrase does not point to Islamists that have assimilated to our way of life. There are millions of loyal and patriotic Americans of the Islamist faith. They are fine people, but there are extremists that want to kill all infidels and destroy Western civilization as we know it. These are animals chopping off the heads of those that don't believe as they do. They drown people in group steel cages to watch them suffer and scrape for their lives to no avail. They stone women who don't conduct themselves as they dictate. Men decide if women gets an education or even drives a car. And these are people that this administration won't call by their name, extreme radical Islamists. So for the DOJ to try and hide the terrorist comments in this transcript is an insult to our intelligence. They must really think we're stupid. In conclusion, sorry, Attorney General Lynch, I don't believe you. You are doing the Obama bidding on this issue. I've decided to start the countdown clock. Only 200 days to go until a new president takes office. I'm Tom Whittick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Thanks for staying with us. Now here's weather with Lane.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, disturbances moving along a front stalled from the northern plains to the mid-Atlantic states will serve as a focusing mechanism for strong to severe thunderstorms over the next few days. Damaging winds and large hail are possible along with an isolated tornado. In the desert southwest, extreme heat continues. Heat and humidity will increase from the south to the Midwest later in the week. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas at 82, Georgia at 88, Arkansas at 93, northern Texas at 89, Arizona at 101, and Los Angeles at 80. And for us locally, tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 81, west wind 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 30. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 110, west wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 77, west wind 20 to 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 35. Thursday, sunny with a high near 108, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Thursday night, clear with a low around 76, west wind 15 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. Friday, sunny with a high near 107, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, clear with a low around 75, west wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And Saturday, sunny with a high near 107, west-northwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
So that's the news for today. Also, KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community station. Now, stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk, coming up next.